Stop. Before May 16th arrives, before this new moon fully opens, before the most powerful cosmic window of 2026 cracks open and begins doing what it was designed to do in your life, I need you to understand something that most people watching spiritual content right now are going to completely miss. Not because they aren't paying attention, not because they don't care, but because what is happening in the sky on May 16th and 17th is not what it looks like on the surface. And the people who only see the surface of this new moon, who read the general forecast, who hear new beginnings in Taurus, and think they understand what they're dealing with, are going to let one of the rarest cosmic configurations of this entire year pass through them like it was just another lunar cycle. It is not just another lunar cycle. And the reason this video found you today, on this specific day, this close to this specific window, is not accidental. The universe does not waste timing on people who are not meant to receive what the timing is carrying. And if something in your chest already knows that, if there is something in you that was already aware, before you even clicked this video, that this week is not ordinary, then stay with me. Because what I am about to share with you in the next few minutes is going to confirm something you already sensed. And then it is going to give you something most people don't have, the full picture. Stay with me all the way to sign number 5 and sign number 6 and sign number 7. Because those three, especially sign number 6, are going to describe something about where you are in your life right now, with a specificity that is going to stop you mid-breath. And by the time this video ends, you are not just going to understand what this new moon is. You are going to understand what it is specifically opening in your life, and exactly what you need to do before May 17th ends to make sure you are receiving it fully. Before sign number 1, I want to tell you something about this new moon that almost nobody is saying clearly. The new moon on May 16th and 17th is a supermoon, not a full supermoon. You cannot see it because all new moons are invisible by nature, but the moon is at perigee, its closest point to Earth in its entire monthly orbit, on the exact same day as the new moon itself. And this matters in a way that goes far beyond spiritual language. The moon's gravitational force is what moves the tides, not as metaphor, literally. The moon's gravity pulls the water of the oceans toward it, creating the tidal patterns that have governed life on this planet since before recorded history. At perigee, at the moon's closest point, that gravitational pull is measurably stronger, scientifically stronger. The tides are higher. The force is more direct. Your body is approximately 60% water. Think about what that means. If the moon's gravity can move entire oceans, what do you think it is doing to you on a night when it is closer to Earth than it is at any other point in the month? This is not hype. This is not manufactured importance. This is physics applied to the thing most spiritual channels never quite get specific enough to say. The new moon on May 16th and 17th is not just energetically significant, it is gravitationally significant. What gets planted in this cycle, what you begin, what you release, what you commit to, what you allow yourself to finally receive, is being planted with a force behind it that a regular new moon simply does not carry, and it does not end there. This supermoon new moon is happening in Taurus, and it is conjunct Uranus in Gemini, which means at the exact moment the moon and sun align to begin a new cycle. The planet of liberation, of sudden breakthrough, of the specific kind of disruption that frees you from what was never genuinely yours, is sitting directly alongside them. Taurus plants, Uranus liberates, the supermoon amplifies, and the combination of all three in the exact window we are sitting in right now is what makes May 16th and 17th one of the most consequential cosmic openings of 2026. Now, the 7 signs. Sign number 1, that this new moon is about to change your life. You have been feeling like you are standing at the edge of something you cannot see yet, and the feeling has been getting stronger, not weaker, not anxious, exactly, not excited, exactly. Something that lives in the space between those two words. Something that feels like your body is bracing for something it knows is coming, even though your mind has not received the full picture yet. This feeling has probably been present for days, maybe longer. You may have tried to describe it to someone and found that the words wouldn't quite hold it. You may have dismissed it as overthinking, or read it as stress, or tried to trace it back to something specific in your external life and come up empty, because it is not coming from your external life. It is not a symptom of your circumstances. It is your energetic system registering a shift in your momentum before that shift has physically arrived. Here is what most people do not understand about the way cosmic windows operate on a human being. They do not announce themselves through external signs first. The portal does not open in the sky and then you feel it. The portal opens in the body first, in the nervous system, in the place beneath thought and below language, where your deeper intelligence processes reality before your conscious mind catches up to it. The Aries new moon that opened in April began something in you, and that beginning has been moving beneath the surface of your ordinary days ever since, gathering, building, approaching the moment where what has been invisible becomes unavoidably visible. And the Taurus new moon on May 16th and 17th is that moment. The feeling you have been carrying, the edge of something feeling, the anticipation without a clear object, is your system's early detection of what is arriving. Your body registered this window before your mind had the language for it. If you have been feeling this, if this description is landing somewhere real inside you right now, that is sign number one. Your life is not about to maybe change. It is already in the process of changing. The external reality simply has not caught up to the internal one yet. And with a supermoon carrying the force of the closest lunar approach of the month, that gap between internal and external closes faster than it ever has before. Right now, in the comments below this video, I want you to type the words "I am ready for what May is opening." Not because it is a trend, not because it is a spiritual exercise, but because in a portal window like this one, the declarations you make out loud, even in a comment section, carry an energetic weight that your future self will feel the effects of. The universe responds to what you claim. Claim it right now. I am ready for what May is opening. Sign number 2. Things that used to bother you deeply have started to matter less, and it happened without any effort on your part. You did not journal it out. You did not have a breakthrough conversation about it. You did not make a deliberate decision to release it, or heal it, or move past it. You simply noticed, at some point in the recent past, that something which used to occupy significant space in your emotional landscape had quietly lost its grip. A situation that once consumed your thoughts, a person whose opinion once held enormous power over how you felt about yourself. A fear that used to activate immediately now feels like it is moving through a layer of something, a cushioning, a distance that was not there before. This is one of the most commonly misread signs of genuine transformation. Most people assume that change looks like lightning, like a dramatic event that clearly marks the before and after. And sometimes it does, but more often, far more often, the first real signal that your life is genuinely shifting is this quiet interior loosening, this gradual release of grip, this slow and almost unnoticeable lightening of what you have been carrying. The Scorpio full moon at the beginning of May 1st, pulled things to the surface. It illuminated what had been operating in the invisible layers, the things you had been managing rather than releasing, the patterns you had been circling rather than completing, and it brought them into the light with the full intensity of Scorpio's unflinching honesty. And then something happened in the days that followed. Some of what was illuminated began to complete itself, not because you forced it, because the illumination was enough, because seeing something clearly, truly clearly, without the softening that comes from not wanting to look at it directly, is sometimes all that releasing requires. Most nouns or lidming tons. The loosening you have been feeling is not you becoming indifferent. It is not you giving up or going numb or disconnecting from your own life. It is identity evolution, the quiet, below-the-surface process by which the version of you that held those things begins to give way to the version that no longer needs to. And what the Taurus new moon on May 16th and 17th does, with the full gravitational force of the supermoon behind it, is plant the new version in the cleared ground that the loosening has created. You cannot plant something new in ground that is still occupied by the old roots. The loosening was the clearing. The new moon is the planting. If you have been noticing this, if something in your life has stopped having the same pull it used to, that is sign number 2, and it means you arrived at this window with prepared ground. Sign number 3. Your sleep has been unusual. Your dreams have been more vivid or more strange than normal, and you have been waking at specific hours in the night without a clear physical reason. This sign is going to land uncomfortably specifically for some of you, and that specificity is deliberate because unusual sleep patterns in the days before a significant new moon, especially one as energetically charged as this one, are one of the clearest indicators that the portal is already active in your system. Here is what is actually happening. During high-frequency cosmic windows, during new moons, full moons, significant planetary alignments, the veil between your conscious mind and your subconscious experience becomes thinner than it is on ordinary nights. Your dreaming mind becomes more active, more symbolic, more emotionally intense, and more meaningfully organized than your waking mind would normally allow. You might be having dreams that do not follow the logic of ordinary experience, but that carry an emotional weight that stays with you when you wake. Dreams that feel more like messages than like the random processing of daily events. Dreams where the imagery means something, even if you cannot immediately articulate what it means. You might be waking at 3 in the morning, at 4, at a specific hour that keeps repeating, not from a noise or from physical discomfort, from a sudden alertness, a sense of presence, a feeling that something just arrived or passed through, or shifted in a way that pulled you out of sleep to witness it. This is not a sleep disorder. This is your system doing something specific and purposeful in the hours when your conscious resistance drops completely and the deeper layers of your awareness have direct access to your experience. The supermoon new moon on May 16th and 17th, conjunct Uranus, carrying the full force of the moon's closest approach, is not just a cosmic event in the sky. It is a resonance field that interacts with human consciousness. And the most honest, most undefended version of your consciousness exists during sleep. The strange dreams are not random. The waking in the night is not insomnia. These are the communications of a deeper layer of your awareness, the layer that processes what is coming before your waking mind has the language for it. Pay attention to what is surfacing in your sleep right now, not to analyze it to exhaustion, to honor it. Because what your dreaming mind is processing in these days before May 16th is the preview of what your waking life is about to begin receiving. If this sign resonates, if your sleep has been unusual in the days leading to this new moon, that is sign number 3. And it means the portal is not arriving on May 16th. For you, it has already begun. Drop in the comments right now the word dreaming if sign 3 landed for you. If your sleep has been unusual, if your dreams have been more vivid or more strange, if you have been waking in the night and sensing something, type dreaming below. I want to see how many of you are already inside this window. Sign number 4. Something in your relationship with your own worth has been quietly, persistently shifting, and you cannot entirely explain why. This sign is the one I want to spend the most time with, because it is the one that is most directly connected to what the Taurus new moon is specifically activating, and because it is the one most people either miss entirely or misidentify as something else. Taurus is the sign ruled by Venus, and at its deepest level, beneath the associations with money and stability and material comfort, Taurus rules self-worth, not confidence in the outward, visible, performative sense. Worth, the internal, private, below-language knowing of what you deserve, what you will accept, what you will no longer tolerate, simply because tolerating it has become the familiar pattern. With Uranus conjunct this new moon, the planet of liberation, of the disruption that frees you from what was never truly yours, the question this lunar event is asking every person it touches is not a gentle one. Where have you been accepting less than what you actually require? not what you have been taught you should require, not what seems reasonable given your circumstances or your history, or what the people around you seem to need from you. What you actually, genuinely, specifically require in order to feel that your life is the one that belongs to you rather than the one that formed around everyone else's needs. This sign might be showing up in your life in one of several ways. You might be noticing a growing resistance to dynamics that previously felt normal, interactions or relationships or patterns that you have been moving through automatically for months or years that have started generating a friction they did not used to generate. Not because the dynamics changed, because you did. You might be experiencing a sudden clarity about a situation you have been softening in your mind, a relationship, a work situation, a financial pattern, a way of being treated that you have been describing to yourself in the most favorable possible terms. And suddenly, recently, the favorable terms are no longer available. The clear version keeps arriving without the cushioning. You might be feeling an urge, quiet but persistent, to ask for what you actually need in a situation where you have historically pretended you did not need it. To have a conversation you have been postponing. To set a limit you have been managing around rather than establishing. This is not restlessness. This is not dissatisfaction without cause. This is your energetic system, updating its baseline in the direction of your actual worth. And the Taurus new moon on May 16th and 17th, with Uranus sitting alongside it, asking for liberation from what is not genuinely yours, with the supermoon amplifying every internal signal with the force of the closest lunar approach, is going to make this updating impossible to continue ignoring. The question it is asking you to answer before May 17th ends is this: if you stopped performing the version of yourself that requires the least explanation from the people around you, if the audience disappeared and the need to manage how others perceive you was temporarily removed, what would you actually claim? What would you stop tolerating? What would you start requiring? What would the honest, unperformed, uncensored version of your life look like in the areas where you have been accepting less than it actually deserves? If you have been feeling this shift in your relationship with your own worth, if something in what I just described is landing with a recognition that goes deeper than intellectual agreement, that is sign number 4. And it means the new moon is already doing its work in the territory where it is most needed. Sign number 5. You have been having thoughts about a beginning that you keep almost starting and then stopping just before you fully commit. Something specific, not a vague desire for things to be better or a general sense that change is needed. Something specific, a direction, a project, a version of yourself or your life or your work that keeps appearing in your awareness with a persistence that ordinary passing thoughts do not have. It comes back, you think about it, and feel the pull of it, and then something, hesitation, uncertainty, the question of whether the timing is right, or whether you are ready enough, or whether it makes sense given everything else going on, creates enough friction to stop the momentum just before it fully starts, and then it comes back again. This is not procrastination in the ordinary sense. This is not avoidance born from laziness or fear of work. This is something more specific. This is the experience of standing at the edge of a genuine beginning and feeling the gap between where you are and where the beginning requires you to be, and not yet quite trusting that you can cross it. Here is what I want you to understand about the Taurus new moon at perigee. Taurus is the most patient energy in the zodiac, not passive. Taurus is one of the most determined, committed, persistently building energies that exists, but patient in the specific sense of understanding that real things take real time, that what is built slowly is what stands, that the impulse to rush the beginning before the ground is ready produces growth that looks impressive initially and collapses under its own weight later. But here is the other side of that patience that most people miss. Merci hit prometteur. Taurus does not reward endless waiting either. There is a specific moment in every genuine beginning where the ground becomes ready and the seed must be planted. Not someday, not when conditions are more favorable. In the window, when the ground is actually prepared. The Scorpio full moon on May 1st cleared the ground. The weeks of integration that followed prepared it. The last quarter moon on May 10th recalibrated what belongs in the next chapter and what needs to be set down. The Saturn conjunction showed you what is actually true in the areas you have been softening. The ground is ready. The beginning you have been almost starting, the one that keeps returning, no matter how many times you dismiss it. This is its window. Not the window when you feel completely ready. Not the window when all uncertainty has been resolved. The window when the ground is genuinely prepared to receive it. That window is now. It closes on May 17th. Now Titiov Korkum, what is the one thing you have been almost beginning? Name it in the comments. Not to announce it publicly, because naming it out loud, in a space with other people who are in the same window, who are asking the same questions, who are standing at the same edge, carries a weight that naming it in private does not. Type what you have been almost beginning. Even if it feels vulnerable, even if it feels premature, especially then. Because the people who name it tonight are the ones who plant it before this window closes. Sign number 6. You have been feeling a quiet grief that you cannot attach to anything specific. This is the one that takes the most honesty to acknowledge, because it makes no logical sense. Nothing dramatic has ended, nothing obvious has been lost, but there has been an undercurrent in your days lately, a tenderness, a bittersweetness, a sadness that sits just below the surface without a clear origin point. You might have tried to trace it back to a specific cause and come up with nothing adequate. You might have dismissed it as tiredness or stress or the weight of everything that has been happening in the world. You might have pushed through it or distracted yourself from it, or wondered quietly whether something is wrong with you for feeling this way when your life, by external measures, is more or less intact. Nothing is wrong with you. What you are feeling is anticipatory grief, and it is one of the rarest and most spiritually significant experiences a person can have. It happens when the part of you that exists below conscious thought, the part that processes reality at a level your analytical mind does not have direct access to, already knows that a version of your life is completing, not through loss, not through tragedy or failure or something being taken from you, through evolution, through the quiet, invisible, below-the-surface process of becoming someone who no longer quite fits inside the life that the previous version of you constructed. The person you are stepping into after this new moon, after the Scorpio full moon cleared the ground and Pluto retrograde excavated the roots and Uranus in Gemini began liberating how you think about yourself and what is possible, cannot carry the same attachments, the same definitions, the same smaller understanding of what you are allowed to want and deserve and experience that the current version of you has been carrying. And some part of you, the quietest, most honest, most awake part, is already saying goodbye to that version, not to your life, to the self that outgrew it. That grief is not weakness. That grief is not depression or dysfunction or evidence that something has gone wrong. That grief is the most spiritually mature response that a conscious person can have to their own becoming. It means you are awake enough to honor what was, even as something in you prepares to step into what will be. If you have been feeling this, if there is a tenderness underneath your days lately that you cannot quite source to a specific event, that is sign number 6. And it is not a sign that something is ending. It is a sign that something is completing. And what comes after completion, in a window as powerful as this one, cannot be contained by the version of your life you have been living up to now. Right now, I want you to type something in the comments that takes more courage than a number. Type the words, "I am ready to become who I have been becoming." Not because everything is sorted, not because you feel certain, because you have been in this process for longer than you realize. And declaring that you are ready, genuinely declaring it, with the full awareness of what it means, is one of the most powerful things a person can do in a portal window. I am ready to become who I have been becoming. Sign number 7. And everything I have shared with you in this video has been building toward this one. You feel, at a level beneath rational thought, that this time is different. Not the way you have felt it before, when you were hopeful or trying to stay optimistic or reaching for a fresh start from a place of genuine exhaustion. Not that this time it will work out that comes from willpower or renewed intention or the simple human need to believe that things can change. something more foundational than that, something quieter and far more certain, a knowing that bypasses your thoughts entirely and lives somewhere in the body, in the chest, in the specific quality of your breath when you drop out of your thinking mind and into the honest, unguarded awareness of what you actually feel at this moment. A knowing that the version of the story you have been living, the chapter you have been in, with its particular cast of characters and its particular set of limitations and its particular ceiling on what you allow yourself to want and expect and receive, is completing. Not crashing, not failing, completing. The way a chapter completes when its lessons have been received and its purpose has been served, and continuing to live inside it would be not just unnecessary, but actively dishonest, because you have already become someone who has outgrown its walls. Here is the thing I need you to sit with long after this video ends. The reason this knowing feels different, the reason this particular moment feels unlike the other times you have hoped and reset and gathered your courage and begun again, is not because your circumstances are different. It is because you are different. The you that is entering this new moon window is not the same you that walked into previous new beginnings. You have been changed, quietly, persistently, without announcement, by everything you have survived in the last year, everything you have released, everything you chose to show up for even when no one was watching, and the outcome was uncertain and continuing required more of you than you thought you had left to give. You are different. And the universe does not send a supermoon new moon conjunct Uranus in Gemini, with the full force of a year's worth of clearing and excavating and liberating behind it, to someone who is not ready to walk through it. You did not stumble onto this video, you were delivered to it. And the 7 signs I have walked you through, the edge of something feeling, the quiet loosening, the unusual sleep, the shifting relationship with your own worth, the beginning you have been almost starting, the sourceless grief, and this deep wordless knowing that this time is genuinely different. Those are not signs that something might change. Those are signs that the change has already begun. Now I need to tell you something important before this video ends, because understanding what this new moon is opening is one thing, but understanding what to do with the next 48 hours is what determines whether this window produces something lasting in your life or simply passes through you the way most cosmic events pass through most people, felt in the moment and gone by the following week. Most people who watch a video like this one will feel something. They will feel the resonance. They will recognize themselves in the signs. They will sense accurately that something about this window is different. And then they will close the app and go back to exactly the same patterns, the same doubts, the same unconscious habits that have been holding the current chapter in place. Not because they don't want change, not because they don't understand what is being offered, but because the gap between feeling something in a video and actually doing something with it in your real life is where most transformations quietly die. So here is what to do before May 17th ends. Tonight, before you sleep, do one thing that most people skip because it seems too simple to be significant. And get something to write on, not your phone, physical paper, and write down one honest answer to this question. What is the one thing I am genuinely ready to stop carrying into the chapter that begins after this new moon? Not what you think you should release, not what sounds spiritually advanced, the specific thing that has been costing you more energy to maintain than it is returning to you. The thing you have been managing around rather than addressing. The thing that, if you are honest in the quiet of your own awareness, you already know does not belong in the life you are stepping into. Name it. Write it with your own hand on physical paper, and then write underneath it the words I am putting this down. Not I am trying to release this. Not I am working on letting this go. I am putting this down, because Taurus energy does not respond to vague intention. It responds to specific, committed, ground-level action. And naming what you are releasing, specifically in writing, with the declaration that it is being put down, is the most powerful form of ground preparation you can do before the supermoon new moon opens tomorrow. Then write one more thing. What is the one beginning that I am actually, honestly ready to commit to for the next 6 months. Not everything you want to start. 1. The one that keeps returning. The one that sign number 5 was about. The one that you almost said in the comments a few minutes ago, even if you held back. Write it in present tense. Not I want to begin. Not I am hoping to start. I am building. Because the Taurus supermoon new moon, with the force of perigee and the liberation of Uranus behind it, plants what you commit to in present tense with a momentum that vague future tense wishes simply do not carry. That is it. 2 honest sentences on physical paper before May 17th ends. What you are putting down. What you are building. The supermoon does the rest. Now, there is something I need to tell you about this channel and about what is available to you if you are ready for it. Everything I have shared in this video is the surface layer of what this new moon is doing. The real layer, the specific practices for working with the Taurus supermoon energy on the actual night of the 16th and 17th, the understanding of what the Uranus conjunction means for what gets planted versus what gets disrupted, the 6-month arc from this new moon to the corresponding full moon in November, and exactly what that arc asks of you in each of its phases. That layer does not fit in a YouTube video. Not because I am holding it back, because what 182,000 people can receive in a public space and what a smaller group of people can receive when we go deep together are fundamentally different things. I have built something for the people who are ready for the deeper layer. It is called the Lunar Awakening Circle, a private monthly community where every lunar event gets the layer beneath the surface. New moon guidance before it opens, full moon guidance before it peaks, weekly energy breakdowns for every significant day, a monthly lunar calendar that gives you the map for the entire month before it begins, and a private space with other people who see what you see, who feel what you feel, who have been watching this channel and wondering if there are others like them. There are. They are already inside. And the new moon content going into the circle for May 16th and 17th. The full depth of what this supermoon conjunct Uranus is opening. The exact practices for the night of the new moon itself. The guidance for the 6 months between now and the November harvest. Is everything this video could not be. The link to join is in the description below this video. It is also pinned in the first comment. I am not going to tell you that you need to join. I am going to tell you what you receive if you do. New moon video before every new moon opens, not after, before. So you are not catching up to the energy. You are walking into it prepared. Full moon video before every full moon peaks, the same. Weekly energy breakdowns, specific, applied, usable, on the actual days they cover. Monthly lunar calendar PDF, your complete map for the month before the month begins, and the private community itself, the space that YouTube cannot be, where the real conversations happen, where the people who feel what you feel have been gathering and going deeper since this circle opened. The link is below. The decision is yours, and the only question worth asking yourself right now is the one that sign number 7 was pointing at. Do you want to stay at the surface of this work, or are you ready for what lives beneath it? The link is in the description. Here is what I need you to carry with you into the next 48 hours. May 16th and 17th are not ordinary days. The supermoon new moon opening in this window is one of the rarest configurations of 2026. The moon at its closest point to Earth, beginning a new cycle in Taurus, conjunct the planet of liberation in Gemini, with the full force of everything May has been clearing and excavating and preparing behind it. You are not approaching this unprepared. You found this video. You received this information. You recognized yourself in the 7 signs. You are inside the awareness that most people around you are still asleep to. Use these 48 hours with intention. Write the 2 sentences before May 17th ends. What you are putting down, what you are building. Protect your energy during these days, not dramatically. Simply, stay close to what feels genuinely true and away from what pulls you into the noise of everyone else's urgency. Pay attention to what surfaces in your sleep, in the quiet moments, in the spaces between one thing and the next, where the portal speaks in the only language it has access to, when your mind is briefly still. And stay open, because what the universe is about to place in your path in the weeks following this new moon may not look like what you expected it to look like, but it will fit perfectly into who you are becoming. You are not approaching this new moon the way most people approach it, as a general cosmic event happening out there in the sky that they observe from a safe distance. You are inside it. The portal is not coming. It is here, right now, in this moment between what was and what is about to be. You are meant to walk through it. And if you are ready to stop watching from the surface and start going into the depth that this window is actually offering, the link is in the description below and pinned in the first comment. The Lunar Awakening Circle. For the people who are ready for what lives beneath the forecast, come back tomorrow, because what opens on May 17th, in people who worked with this window consciously, the clarity, the movement, the specific way the supermoon's force begins showing up in real life, that is what the next video covers. You do not want to miss that one. The power inside you has always been there. The supermoon new moon opening in the next 48 hours is simply the moment it stops waiting for your permission to rise. See you on the other side.